and Olisa Agbakoba questioned the rationale behind the proposed action by the federal government, where no concrete plan has been put in place to take care of the adverse effects on Nigerians.
And you won't be wrong. On one side, you have the government team led by Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. On another side, a team comprising civil society activists. The hall was packed.
The present level of the burden on our finances is not sustainable. And then this subsidy, who actually does it benefit the most? Now, the subsidy benefits almost everybody, the public. So we are not saying it doesn't benefit poor people. That's not what we are saying. It benefits them, it benefits the well-off in society. But who does it benefit more? In fact, the better off you are, the more you benefit from this subsidy.
In Nigeria, because of our population, a refinery is only viable if you are producing at least 100,000 barrels per day. 100,000 barrel refinery will cost you $3.3 or so billion to set up. That is no mean amount. A 200,000 barrel refinery, about $4.2 billion. Therefore, as the CME pointed out, very few people are willing to come in and invest and put down that sort of money up front if they are not assured of a viable commercial return on that investment.
Having made their points, the debate shifted to the other team to make its case.
There was a time the price of petroleum, the price of crude collapsed. It's almost about $50 or $60 or so. And we were insisting that why would the market logic not follow? Why wouldn't you crash the price? Because that's the logic. Since you are using the international price of crude, the reality is that Nigerians have never known these market forces. What we know in terms of market forces is that the prices keep on going up. So I agree with you. So how we interpret the fact. And I think largely the government has been responsible for the distortion in this market. And for those who are responsible for the distortion of the market, what trust can we have in them to come and give gospel about the need for market forces?
You must listen to alternative suggestions. And that is the only way to move this debate forward. Once we have identified the cartel that have profited illegally and criminally from importation of petroleum products. And Sanusi Hassan said it all. He said, we are not consuming 35 million liters per day. I also agree with that. We are making progress. And I have said it elsewhere. The current reorganization of the PPRA by the Honorable Minister of Petroleum is already yielding fruits.
For proponents of the removal of fuel subsidy, the Govt an unlikely ally from a man who is famous for leading workers on strike in the past, the current governor of Edo State.
As it is today, this president does not have any option. If he doesn't take these decisions, Nigeria will crash. And when he crashes, it will not matter who caused the problem. Everybody will be in trouble. And I think the time to act is now.
The session did not end there. Some veteran journalists who were observing the process had these questions to ask.
Why is it difficult for us to know when the subsidy will take off? Why is it not possible for us to have a phased approach in implementing the subsidy? Why can't we make examples of the so-called cabals who have taken this nation down this route? Why is it so difficult for us to have a breakdown of the palliatives, the actual tangible things that Nigerians will see?
As part of the transformation agenda of the government, when do we start really addressing some of these very serious issues about the size of government and the huge cost of running governance in Nigeria without the people feeling any impact.
We don't like the word palliatives. I think deregulatory benefits would be a better way to put it. And they spanned the areas of, as was mentioned before, maternal and child health services, public works, women and youth employment programs, urban mass transit schemes.
In the end, it turned out to be a robust debate and engagement. As to who won the debate, that is somewhat difficult to tell at the moment. It's still a question of wait and see. DG Badimosi, Channels Television News.
The Minister of Finance, the Central Bank Governor, Minister of Petroleum Resources, as well as professionals at a town hall meeting organized by the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria. And in part two, after the break, 6 blocks of gas a day. We're going up north now. 6 blasts and gunfire have rocked in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, in Nigeria's northeast region, after explosions and shooting earlier broke out in Damaturu, the capital of neighboring Yobe State. Both cities have previously been badly hit by violence blamed on the Islamist group Boko Haram. Residents say the people were fleeing Maiduguri, but it was unclear whether there were casualties. According to a senior police officer in Damaturu, an attack by some gunmen on the checkpoint was repelled. Maiduguri has borne the brunt of the violence attributed to Boko Haram, which has claimed responsibility for several attacks in the northern parts of the country, including the August suicide bombing of the UN headquarters in the capital, the federal capital, Abuja. We're staying with security issues in Ogun State, southwest Nigeria. The state government there has inaugurated an 11-man Ogun Security Trust Fund, chaired by the former Director General of the SSS, Colonel Kayode Are, to effectively tackle the security problem in the state. At a ceremony held at the arcade ground of the governor's office, the state governor, Ibekule Amosu, announced drastic reforms in the security situation in the state, promising to deploy modern technology in addressing challenges in the sector.
Is the head of service.
The Board of Trustees is saddled with the responsibilities of collaborating and promoting the efficiency of all security agencies in the state, especially at a time the state is having a fair share of the security challenges. The state governor is apparently not happy with this development and is asking good-spirited individuals and corporate organizations to support the initiative.
The essence of the fund is to support the government in tackling all types of security challenges in our state through sourcing for resources and efficiently deploying such resources to achieve the objective of a safe and secure environment.
The appeal appears to be yielding some immediate results, as a substantial amount of money is pledged at the occasion, with the First Bank of Nigeria PLC taking the lead with a donation of 100 million naira. Other banks and corporate organizations supported fund in pledges.
I want to assure the donors who have contributed and the members of the public that whatever you put in our trust will be looked after and done. A sacred trust. And I also want to appeal to others that security is a collective responsibility.
60 operational vehicles bought by the state government are then handed over to the security operatives.
We got this to the glory of God and to the security of the people of Ogun State.
It will do a lot, because what you need is input. If you have all the men in the world and they don't have tools, and they cannot achieve anything. This will definitely do a lot. It will help to deploy men, and it will help to reassure people, and it will deter robbers and hardened criminals when they know that security people will respond.
This is certainly a practical step in the fight against crime. Security operatives will, however, be counting on the people to assist with vital information about criminals and criminal activities.
A workshop on capacity development has been organized in Lagos by the Nigerian Telecommunications Commission for ICT journalists to bring them in touch with modern practices in ICT reporting. According to an executive commissioner of the commission, Mr. Ukechukwu Itanyi, who represented the executive vice chairman. The seminar is part of its corporate social responsibility to its key stakeholders to allow them develop conditions that would build and enhance their existing knowledge and skills in ICT journalism.
Every average Joe on the street could be a reporter.
About 100 ICT journalists representing different media organizations are being hosted by the Nigerian Communications Commission to receive exposures on elements and conditions that would enable them catch up with best practices in modern ICT reporting.
I want you, please, to do the best that you can to carry the NCC along in your reportage. Let me also say that the media is a major stakeholder in the ICT industry because you carry the information. You're, as far as we're concerned, the public relations mouthpiece of the ICT industry. And that is why we will always continue to work with you, to partner with you, to court you, so that you represent us well.
For the keynote speaker, adequate knowledge of ICT dynamics is a force for media growth.
I'm challenging all of you today that we all can be better people, and most significantly, we can be better journalists if we were to just attempt to tap into the learning and knowledge potential that resides in the ICT resource.
With topics covering the application of appropriate modern technology in ICT reporting, health management, personal effectiveness and finance, the guest speakers established certain ICT resources that are necessary for journalists to achieve optimal output in their job.
It's not just about ICT.
But what does the organizers intend to achieve through this forum?
We have identified some kind of gap in ICT reportage in Nigeria as it is today, and we believe that that gap has to be bridged. And one of the ways that you can bridge a gap, especially a gap that is knowledge-based, is to provide some form of training, some form of education, and that is what this workshop is all about.
The outcome of this workshop may well be a defining platform for ICT journalists to exploit opportunities in ICT revolution to get the best in their profession.
Welcome to Business News. Well, CBN Governor Lamido Sanusi was among the panelists at a town hall meeting on fuel subsidy organized by the Newspapers Proprietors Association of Nigeria in Lagos, Southwest Nigeria today. He argued that the government can no longer sustain the retention of petrol subsidy because the figures no longer add up. But President of the Silverbird Group, Ben Murray Bruce, said the government must give something back if oil subsidy must go.
Between January and November, the total amount of foreign exchange we sold to petroleum marketers at WDAS and Interbank was in excess of $8 billion. Over the same period, the total amount of subsidy that was given to these same marketers was another $8 billion. That is 16 billion. 16 billion. Now I'm going to ask you, it was actually 16.2 billion if you want to know the numbers. Now do you know what? The total amount, at least from my records, the total amount of money that the government earned, that came to us in the Federation reserves from the entire oil sector in the same period was 200,000 less than that. We spent more money paying for LCs and paying subsidy than we earned from the oil sector.
You are spending 10 billion a year on subsidy. We want $2 billion. We want $500 million to subsidize poor folks trying to go to work and trying to go to school. You pay the difference when you increase your prices. 2, we want a 500 million naira intervention fund, 5% interest for 5 years, so every transporter can buy a bus or a car to fill the void that we need, and we can go green, and we can get energy efficient buses and energy efficient taxis all across the country. $500 million, 5% interest. The money you pay to subsidize transport, pay to the bank, e-ticketing.
There's organizing bodies of participating nations at the London 2012 Summer Olympics in intensified preparations. The Nigeria Olympic Committee is no different, as it has officially unveiled one of the country's leading banks, First Bank of Nigeria, as its official bank for the event. At the official signing of the partnership agreement in Lagos, President of the Nigeria Olympic Committee, Sani Ndanusa, says both parties have achieved another milestone in sports, particularly now that preparations are focused on a successful London 2012 Olympics. Straight to business, beginning with the signing of the dotted lines between the Nigeria Olympic Committee and First Bank, one of Nigeria's leading financial institutions, a union that will not only see it as Team Nigeria official bank, but also rejuvenate the country's preparations for the event.
As a bank, we're a financial services provider, so we will facilitate cash transactions, we'll provide platforms for financial transactions during the games here in Nigeria, and hopefully as we journey with them to the UK as well, through our various alternative channels.
The president of the NOC, Sani Ndanusa, is confident that the bank's success story that spans over 117 years, making it the official exclusive bank of the NOC, is an inspiration for repositioning of Nigerian sports.
Today's signing ceremony of the partnership agreement between Nigeria Olympic Committee and First Bank PLC is not only a landmark in the history of Olympism in Nigeria, but equally a great encouragement as we drive to the repositioning of the committee for better service delivery to our sports and Olympic movement. First Bank, as we all know, is a major player today in both the national and global financial system.
But what does this involvement represent to First Bank?
I think for us the key thing is that we're aligned with the values of respect, friendship and excellence that drive the Olympic Games. These are values that we totally believe in. I think our involvement as official banker to NOC represents the bank's endorsement of these values.
With the deal signed and sealed, First Bank is set to facilitate cashless transactions and provide platforms for various financial transactions during the games through its alternative banking channels. And just move on to Delta State. Reports coming in from the CAF Awards taking place in Ghana say that Nigeria's Perpetual Quarter has emerged the African Footballer of the Year in the female category. The male category has not yet been announced, but it has 3 players, one from Ghana, one from Cote d'Ivoire, and the other from Mali. As the results coming, we'll bring them to you. But in Delta State, the government there has affirmed its commitment to assisting its athletes based abroad with the sum of 25 million naira to help them prepare for the forthcoming Olympic Games. The chairman of the Delta State Sports Commission, Amaju Pinnick, revealed this to Channel Sports while presenting an honors award to Nigeria's fastest woman, Blessing Okagbare, as part of the 50 most distinguished Deltans earlier recognized by the state government. Wimbledon champion